Hey, this is All Things Cheryl, and we are basically here to do the review and recap of the second premiere night of Queen Sugar, and the title of it is The Space Between. And apparently, what had happened in episode one, uh, Lady Day basically told the bishop that he could come back in the house until they get the RS straightened out. And so we see that the bishop basically tried to make a move to basically move back into the bedroom, and Lady Day is not having it. And so the bishop was kind of upset that she wouldn't allow him to move to sleep in the same bed with her. She basically told um, the bishop that it's no go. Then we see that Gigi has basically came in after a night of being out with Darius and so asked Father, how's that working out with you? And this is when the bishop basically told Gigi, said, look, I'm very tired, and whatever's going on between you and your mother, that's between uh, me and her. So, and he basically tells her, like, look, I'm on my way to bed. I'm going to tell you this. GeenLeaf this year is really, really going for it, y'all. I mean, seriously. Seriously, they are really going for it. Looks like the writer's saying, okay, y'all, let's tear up some stuff. Let's, show them exactly what's going on in church. And so we see that Grace is making a call to Rochelle. And she tells Rochelle that she would like to have a meeting with her to discuss a project that she want to propose to her. And so Rochelle asks her how's 2:30, and she says it's okay. And we also see that Sophia has asked her mother why she's using such a cheerful voice when she's talking to when he that she used to talk to with her dad. She says, "I'm trying to make a new friend." And so then we see that Jacob and Carissa's basically talking about the streamings that they're getting ready to get into it. And so Zara is basically entering the room and asks the father if she could use his phone to call Sophia to apologize to her. So Jacob gave the phone, and Sophia basically tried to step outside. And so she was like, uh, Jacob said, well, where are you going with the phone? And said, you can make that phone call here. And then that's when Zara says, that's okay. I don't want it. And then this is where Carissa, this is when Zara's mother is telling Jacob to kind of like, loosen up a little. Carissa is telling her to loosen up. It's telling him to loosen up a little bit. And Jacob says that Zara needs to understand that we basically serious about that. And then Carissa says, yeah, we could tell. And so we are get a scene where we see that Grace and the bishop and Lady May is basically discussing about the workshop that they're getting ready to have with married couples, and telling that they have about 30 couples, and they're saying that we can't really give them their money back, and so they're splitting the couples in half in terms of doing a workshop. And then this is where we see Lady Mae tells Grace, Gigi, that she need to stop, being so concerned about her and her husband, and being concerned about her and Darius. And, you know, it's she's out. So they went on and they were going at it again. And so she's trying to telling the bishop that Gigi Grace basically puts her nose in any business, and so the bishop goes on and tells Lady Mae, I can't tell where she got the nosiness from. And then we see that Lady Mae and the bishop is basically trying to make it seem like that they are happy and everything. And then one of the workers asked Lady Mae where was she, because there were two different stories. One said that she was sick, and the other one says that she was out of town. And so Lady Mae said she was both. So it's a mess, y'all. This GeenLeaf is going for it. And so Grace, so Lady Mae is asking the receptionist to make a phone call to Clara. And basically, Clara is the lady who basically, I'm assuming, had hit the lottery, and she must have hit it for really big, because they're basically going to hit her up to see whether or not if they can get the $2 million to play their tastes. And so we go on and we see a scene where it's Rochelle and Gigi and Grace is talking about the victim refund, the victim project that they is basically getting ready to team up. And so that's what Grace tells Rochelle, that if she had to press charges, that she would have been able to, get the best lawyers. But then Rochelle went back and said, well, I'm glad that he's not here. So apparently it seems like Rochelle must have had some run-in with Gigi's uncle. And so these two are basically trying to do a goody two shoes, but we know both of them is hitting. It's then Rochelle tells Gigi that she's gonna have to start calling her Grace, and so we can see that the both of them are basically lying. So uh Rochelle, excuse me, has ran into the bishop because she knows she was at the church. And so Rochelle tells the bishop that she knows that she is supposed to keep a distance. And then this is when Rochelle goes on and asks the bishop, how is he doing? And then Rochelle was trying to tell the bishop that she thinks that he should, instead of to do a long time leasing with the hotel, just in case something, like Lady Mae wants to kick him out again, he has somewhere to go. So this is when the bishop tells Rochelle that she's back in the house. And now remember, Rochelle had bought this expensive, $203 that she basically was going to try to seduce the bishop. So that means that she is going to have to, she's basically going to have to go and to go back to the drawing board. And so we see that I had basically talked to you all about. I think I got a little ahead of myself when I did the review earlier today, and we were talking about, we see the scene where that Carissa was basically supposed to be at the Triumph for a program that they're basically getting started, but Carissa couldn't make it. It's because she was being held up by two snotty parents. So we know, and the parents was not really satisfied with with the grade that the teacher had gave him, which was basically a B instead of a A. And I'm like, okay. And so they started going in with the fact that they were like basically, a donor of the school and that they donated a lot of money. So therefore, that made Carissa had to basically, suck up to this particular couple because they made a lot of donations. So while Carissa is basically, sucking up to the two parents, we see that Tasha and Jacob has basically completed the program, and then we see that uh, Carissa is basically running to get to the program, but the program was basically over. So, Tasha and Jacob has basically went on and to complete it. And then we see that this lady basically saw Carissa and she asked Carissa, was she, a new member at Triumph? And then this is where Carissa said, no, I'm the first lady. And then the lady, which she did not know, thought that Tasha was the first lady. And so Tasha basically was uh, really feeling some kind of way. And basically, she had the right to feel some kind of way. So now this is when we basically see that Claire, who is the who is a high donor to the church. So they basically, set the dinner up so they could basically ask Claire for the $2 million. And so Claire asks, is the bishop, is there any other way that they could get the money? And Bishop basically said that, well, we don't have any, free up, you know, basically cash or anything, and we, wanted and needed your help. And so Claire basically is going to give them the money, but she also noticed that um that that there was something that was going on at the house. And so this is what Claire says, that there was something different about the house. She wasn't quite sure what it was. And then she noticed that the that Lady May had basically switched up the art painting basically in the room where uh, they were having their dinner and everything. So this is when Clara went on and talked about the relationship that the bishop and Lady May basically had. And she was saying that she basically misses her husband. And this is when she goes on and she asks the bishop and Lady May exactly how long they've been together. And come to find out that the Lady May and Bishop is getting ready to have anniversary. They're getting ready to celebrate 45 years of being together, but right now it's like 44 years. And so I'm like, wow, man, they've been together for like 44 years, and it's just now they get ready to clean out their garbage out of the garbage can, all that back stuff that's been happening over the years. It's coming up to the to the surface and everything. So we go on, and we see that Jacob is basically on the internet looking for something to get his wife Carissa So he was like looking at, shirts and jewelry. And then this is when Tasha came up and asked Jacob, well, what you doing? So Jacob says, I'm looking for a gift for my wife because basically she has basically worked very hard and needed, she, um, she basically needed. And so we see that Jacob and Tasha is at the jewelry store, um, basically trying on various necklaces. And so there was one particular necklace that Tasha came across, and she put it on Carissa. And Carissa was like really excited about the necklace. It was like a gawky looking necklace. It was kind of odd looking and everything. And so this is when Jacob tells Tasha, says, you did, your husband did basically give you a gift. And this is when she went on to say, well, Skanks really didn't really buy. I guess it would be the day after, he was like into gambling and stuff like that. So he really did, didn't get it. And so we go on and we see basically Sophia. And so Sophia was feeling very, very, was upset due to the fact that she told her uncle what was going on with her cousin. And so her mother tells Sophia that she really didn't do anything, that she basically did what the what what was right. And so we also go on and see that Sophia had basically had a conversation with her uncle and was basically able to get her uncle to give Sophia her TV back. But before that, Sophia and Zara was basically talking, and Zara had basically gave Sophia $20 and asked her if she could get her a track phone. And this $20 was the one that she took out of the church service. And then Sophia said, Sophia tells Zara that basically that she wasn't going to go and get a track phone for her to get in contact with Isaiah. And the reason why is because Isaiah was an abuser, and basically she is not going to do it. So, and of course, Zara is really, really upset due to the fact that she would not do the track phone. And so she was able to get Zara's father to kind of like loosen up and give her the TV. So Zara was able to get the TV. And she was, happy the fact that she was getting the TV because she thought that she was going to be able to talk to Isaiah again because, uh, she had one of those smart TVs and stuff like that. So when she went to cut the TV on and go to a particular station and to connect to so she could talk to or see Isaiah, basically the TV came up saying restricted. So, so we go on, and as we move along, we see that Jacob has fired the bookkeeper. And so we go on and we hear Tasha talking to the bookkeeper and telling the bookkeeper, well, you know how things are, and it was just basically time for you to basically move on. And so we go on and we see a scene where uh, Gigi is basically coming in from being with Darius. And we also see a scene where the mother is basically getting ready to dig all into Gigi. And so Gigi basically went to see what's going on with her mother. So this GeenLeaf is really, they're really going for it. And so now we go on and we find out that Gigi is finding out that her mother also had a marital affair too. It's because the bishop basically told Gigi that your mother is basically all, it's not all that she kept up to be. Did you know that your mother had a marital affair with Lionel? Lionel and Aaron's father? And so when Gigi found this out, she basically went off on her mother. And so Gigi goes to confront her mother and said, how dare you, talk about me and my relationship and come to find out that you slept with Lionel. How dare you? And so Lady May, she was very highly upset with the bishop because the bishop told Gigi that she also had a marital affair with another man. And so she told her mother to basically, don't you ever, say anything about my relationship. I'm basically done with everything that you ever have to say. And so this is when Lady May goes and she storms into the bishop's, she just came into the bishop, stumbled into the bishop's office and said and asked the bishop, did you say something to Rochelle about Zara? And she said, yes, I did. And so this is when Lady Mays told the bishop, look, after we get this straightened out with the IRS and that clears up and the check, the $2 million clears up, I'm basically divorcing your black ass. And basically, it went on. I know that I basically probably missed a lot, but I want you to understand that really this season basically is everything, all things green, all things green. We find out that the bishop is in the spare room. Rochelle is basically have to go to Plan B because he's moved back into the house. Zara is still a mess. Charity, we didn't really talk too much about Charity, but Charity doesn't want to let little baby Nathan go and visit the father because basically she saw Aaron coming into the apartment and then she asked Kevin, was he living there? Was Aaron living there? And Kevin says, no, he's visiting. So when she saw that, she kind of like, look, she's breaking it off, doing the tour. She calls Jabari, and Jabari has hung up the phone. It's messy, y'all. It's messy, but I'm here for the messiness. That's it. If you have any comments or anything, like for you to put them down at the bottom. We'd like for you to subscribe. We'd like for you to click. We'd like for you to share. And we'd like for you to comment. Mainly, we'd like for you to view it. The longer you view it, the better my watch time will go up. Until I think GeenLeaf is coming on every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And until next week, we're going to say peace and love. And love is for everyone.